Γεια σας, καλημέρα. Have you ever wondered why in some English words that begin with an R, there is an H after the R? Like rhinoceros or rhapsody. And in some other words, most other words there isn't, like rind or random. Let's find out why and at the same time uncover a word that doesn't belong. Well, the answer goes all the way back to the ancient Greek language. In ancient Greek, all the words that begin with a vowel must take a breathing, either smooth or rough. For example, οκτώ, 8, smooth breathing. Ιστορία, history, rough breathing. And all the words that begin with a rho must take a rough breathing. For example, ρυθμός, rhythm, rough breathing. Rhinoceros, rhinoceros, rough breathing. There is a link below to a video about accents and breathings. Now, in the English language, in words derived from Greek, the rough breathing is indicated by an H. For example, Helen. In Greek, Eleni with a rough breathing. History. In Greek, Ιστορία with a rough breathing. Rhythm. Ρυθμός with a rough breathing. Rhetoric, rhetoriki, with a rough breathing. So even though in modern Greek we don't use breathings anymore, in English the rough breathing in the form of an H is preserved in all the words derived from Greek. An interesting case of false etymology, also known as paretymology, is the word rhyme. A word that we use in Greek for rhyme is rima with a iota. Rima with an eta means verb. But the word rima is not even Greek. The actual Greek word is long and fancy. Ομοιοκαταληξία, which means having the same endings. Rima comes from Italian, rima, and from French, rime. However, in the late Middle Ages and later on in the 16th century, English writers changed the spelling from rhyme, which they borrowed from the French, to rhyme, either because they really thought mistakenly that rhyme came from rhythmos, and this is a case of false etymology, or because they wanted to make it look more fancy and to suggest that it had classical origins. That's all for today. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time. Ευχαριστώ. Γεια σας!